Larry Bird's voice carries the weight of history, measured, calm, yet capable of shaking the entire basketball world when he chooses to speak. So when he broke his silence to talk about Caitlin Clark, the rising sensation rewriting what women's basketball means, his words didn't just echo through sports media. They became a statement, one that left Caitlin speechless and everyone else realizing we might be witnessing the birth of a legend. From the quiet gyms of Iowa to packed arenas filled with deafening cheers, Caitlin Clark has turned every game into a spectacle. Her confidence radiates in every dribble, every step-back three, every moment she stares down a defender before draining another impossible shot. Basketball isn't just a sport for her. It's her revolution, and the court is her stage. Larry Bird, a man whose stoic demeanor hides one of the fiercest competitive spirits the NBA has ever known, saw something in her that reminded him of himself, that mix of talent, grit, and defiance that defines greatness. It wasn't lost on him that Caitlin's rise came with criticism. The doubters said she was overhyped, that the attention was too much, too soon. Yet Bird didn't see hype. He saw history repeating itself. He remembered the skepticism that followed his own career, the endless comparisons, and the doubt that came before dominance. Caitlin, he believed, was walking that same path. Every shove, every foul, every headline questioning her toughness only made her stronger. Resilience, Bird once said, is what separates the great from the unforgettable. And by that definition, Caitlin Clark was already entering rare territory. Her influence isn't measured only in points and assists, it's in moments. The way her presence fills arenas once overlooked. The way she's made young girls believe that pulling up from half court isn't crazy. It's confidence. She's taken what used to be quiet nights of women's basketball and turned them into primetime television. Larry Bird compared her cultural effect to the Magic of the 1980s, when his rivalry with Magic Johnson reshaped the NBA's future. Caitlin's doing the same for women's basketball, he said. And he was right. Her name isn't just being spoken in Iowa anymore, it's being shouted around the world. The parallels are impossible to ignore. Just like Bird and Magic, Caitlin and Angel Reese have created a rivalry that transcends competition. Their clashes are intense, emotional, and unforgettable, not because of animosity, but because of how they push each other to elevate the sport. When Magic Johnson himself stepped in and said, "Caitlin reminds me of how it started for us," it felt like history looping back on itself. Bird and Magic once saved the NBA, now Caitlin and Angel might just do the same for the WNBA. Their games pull millions of viewers. Their jerseys fly off shelves, and for the first time, young players dream not just of making the league, but of filling arenas like them. And then came another voice. Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards of all time. In a touching message filmed through a State Farm collaboration, he congratulated Caitlin on her Rookie of the Year honors. "That's huge," he said, smiling. "But now comes the real work. Stronger, faster, better on defense." His advice was pure mentorship, the kind that comes from experience. He reminded her to stay grounded, to lean on her family, and to remember why she plays. Paul listed her achievements like a proud brother, record-breaking points, assists, and accolades, but what impressed him most wasn't her stats. It was her joy. "It's how you make your teammates better," he said. "That's what greatness really is." It was symbolic, the passing of wisdom from one generation's playmaker to the next. Chris Paul was the point guard of his time. Caitlin is becoming the same for hers. What he saw in her was evolution. A player who controls tempo, reads defenses like a book, and lifts everyone around her with pure confidence. She's not waiting for the future of women's basketball. She's creating it in real time. Then came a storm. The 2024 Olympics. Caitlin's name wasn't on the Team USA roster, and the backlash was immediate. Fans called it an outrage. Media outlets speculated politics, jealousy, favoritism. But amid the noise, one voice rose above the rest. Dwight Howard. "She's a great player," he said, "but maybe this is her moment to get sharper, stronger, hungrier." At the time, people brushed it off. But in hindsight, he was right. Because when Caitlin returned, she was unstoppable. Every movement had precision, every shot carried intent. What was meant to humble her only hardened her resolve. Isaiah Thomas later remarked that the league was feeding off her energy. "Controversy sells," he said, "and Caitlin brings eyes. But what keeps them watching is her heart. She's not afraid to fall, to fail, or to fight. The more the pressure builds, the more she thrives. It's what all greats have, that relentless hunger that no setback can kill. And then came Michael Jordan, the greatest ever. In a rare statement, he said what many were thinking but few dared to voice. The WNBA owes Caitlin a great deal, he said. It's time the league protects players like her. His tone was calm, but his words were thunder. Jordan saw in Caitlin the same thing Bird did, not just a player, but a movement. He recognized the fire, the will to dominate, the defiance that comes with being the face of a sport. She carries the game, he said, and she deserves the respect that comes with it. For a man who rarely comments on modern athletes, his statement meant everything. It validated her struggle, her rise, and her impact. Allen Iverson echoed the sentiment, calling her fearless and cold-blooded. When Iverson, the man who redefined swagger in basketball, praises your heart, you've arrived. She shoots the blood out the ball, he said with a laugh, but his admiration was real. Like Iverson, Caitlin isn't the biggest, but her confidence fills the room. She doesn't just score, she leads. She doesn't just play, she inspires. And that's what Larry Bird meant when he said Caitlin Clark is redefining basketball. He wasn't just praising her mechanics or her shooting touch. He was acknowledging the shift, the cultural wave she's created. From sold-out stadiums to viral highlight reels, she's proving that greatness has no gender, no ceiling, and no limits. Bird, Magic, Jordan, Iverson, Paul, all of them see it. The lineage of basketball's evolution is alive, and Caitlin Clark is its newest torchbearer. The story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. Every time she steps on the court, she carries not only her team, but the weight of those who came before, and the dreams of those who will come after.